But yeah, like what you were saying, I've been a fan of history and like World War II history and like what happened there, and always wondered how such an intelligent and progressive, the most intelligent and progressive people ever up to that point could vote in the Nazi Party. And I never understood that until COVID happened. And it's like, okay, now you're just seeing it unfold at a faster rate and more drastic. And it's like, what if there was another dictator? Like the hubris of modern man, that we've got our smartphones, smart technology, our internet. We think we know everything, but we're not as smart as them 100 years ago. They had to read books to know things.
It's interesting you say that, because everyone looks at just what happened in World War II, but apparently more Russians got slaughtered at the hands of was it Lenin? I'm not sure, but
the Bolsheviks and the communists.
And Genghis Khan slaughtered 150 million people. How come no one talks about Genghis Khan? 150 million people.
Well, what was it that Baghdad, the rivers were running red?
Yeah, I believe
red and black with the color of blood in books.
Yeah, I believe Genghis Khan slaughtered 150 million people, something like that, right? Don't quote me, but what happened in World War II wasn't the worst of the dictators. But why do they talk about that? Why is that one spoken about so much?
Yeah, exactly.
And why is that one the one that's always on Discovery Channel and whatever else, right?
And YouTube.
So it's an interesting
programmed into us.
Interesting documentary I've seen about all that stuff that happened. The other side of the story. And ruffles a few feathers, but they've lied to us about everything else. Why wouldn't they lie to us about what really went on back then? Because we only know what they told us, right? We don't actually know what the true story is. But that's a big question mark, to be honest, in my book, ever since I've seen what I've seen and read what I've read. And there's another side to that story, a true history of what really happened back then. And it was very, very different to what we think it is. So I'm not saying that's what's happened. I'm not, but if you look at the other side of the story, it's quite compelling. It's interesting.
Well, that's something I noticed growing up, because I knew this old German dude that was a soldier, and he was a POW in the caught by the Russians. But yeah, he always used to collect all these books in German, like on the other side, all the banned books and stuff. And it's like, wait a minute, why are they banned books? Like we're supposed to hate Hitler for burning books, but then for the last 100 years, they've banned books all on that one side. And then you start to think about, well, even the mainstream narrative, Hitler would have known about the scientists back there, if everything was true, what they were doing, they would have known about the ketogenic diet and energy system and how to stimulate that. And we wouldn't have had 50, 60, 70 years of the sugar industry, which I've profited from. I was within that industry myself, but it's like, where they demonize fat, where it's like fat is the thing that's protecting us.
Oh, yeah. So moving away from the touchy subject of, the big man, the guy back then, like moving away from that for a moment, because you don't know how people can label things, right? But the whole food pyramid's the biggest con I've ever seen in my life. Putting carbohydrates down the bottom when your body is naturally inclined and is a lot healthier to run on fats and proteins as your primary source of calories. It should be proteins, fats, depending on what your body type is, and then carbohydrates in your macros, not carbohydrates at the bottom, because what happened was the sugar industry got a hold of the food pyramid and they wanted to sell breakfast cereal. And how unhealthy is breakfast cereal? Think of the amount of sugar and carbohydrates. There's like your daily intake of carbohydrates in one bowl of Nutri-Grain, because you got to look at the serving. It's a 30-gram serve on the packet. You don't have 30 grams. You have like 250 grams, and you're not even adding milk to it. So imagine when you add, 250 mils of milk plus 5 servings of Nutri-Grain, you've had 150 grams of carbs just for breakfast. If you try and do a ketogenic diet, that's how much you'll have over 3 days.
Yeah, for sure.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. And if you cut open our brain, it's all fat in there. Like a healthy brain that dies, like when they cut them up or whatever, it's full of fat, and but like people with Alzheimer's, they've got no fat in there.
Do you know how good I feel when I do a ketogenic diet? The hardest thing about eating low carb and doing a ketogenic diet or a low carb diet, it's not the feeling of your body. You feel fantastic. You're motivated. You have more energy. Your skin looks better. You're leaner. There is no disadvantage apart from the fact that emotionally wise, you can't just go and stick whatever you want in your mouth, and you need to have discipline. Apart from that, there is absolutely no disadvantage to doing a ketogenic diet, man. I love it. Like if I can be, disciplined and stick to them, love it. Yeah. It's interesting. You should bring that up.
Yeah. Well, this is just the way my brain works. It's like, wait a minute, they were doing X research, therefore they would have known about the ketogenic system. Therefore, it's like, why is that not being given to us, kind of thing? It's because anyway, so it's good to hear your side on that. What about, do you use supplements and all that sort of stuff, or do you do any other sort of thing?
Oh yeah, man, I've been going to the gym for about 19 years. I'm probably about your age. How old are you?
43.
Oh yeah, you're a little bit older, not much. I'm 39 this year. I turn 40 next year.
Oh,
I've been doing going to the gym for about 19 years, man. On and off probably about 7. No, on and off probably about 5, but proper training without training at least 1 day in a week over that week, as in without not missing a day of training. Probably about 12 years I've been pretty consistent with training. You wouldn't think it right now because
lockdowns,
no gyms.
Yeah, it's hard.